Hey, this is Mutsa Badri, and today's Alive and Fearless Monday, I want to help daughter-in-law become more alive and fearless. We have this question where people are asking us on YouTube that how does a daughter-in-law manage all the comments that are passed on her for her kids, being food, health, education, and everything which pressurizes the daughter-in-law to either perform according to the environment, people around her, and finally she gets so frustrated that she reacts in front of her kids, and on top of that, the husband is not very supportive. So I want to address this issue because this is something related to a daughter-in-law, and I can really relate to this because I've seen in my own family. I'm married, living with my mom and dad, and my wife have been going through similar issues, and that we have been able to tackle very tactfully, and I want to help you do the same. So by the end of this video, you will understand what is happening, the mindset of your father-in-law, mother-in-law, or whoever is in the family. You will also be able to deal with them effectively so that there is no conflict, there are no fights, there are no emotional, upsets or drama in the house, and at the end of the day, you will be able to live an alive and fearless life and be happy and have happiness in your family, including your husband, your kids, your mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, and everybody in the family. So let's begin with some perspective here. When we talk about a daughter-in-law getting married and coming to a different family and background, what really happens is the mother-in-law has this insecurity that there's a new woman in the house and she's married to my son. So the son and the mother always have these rapport. The mother is taking care of the son and she's feeding him, taking care of everything about the son, and suddenly the daughter-in-law comes and takes over. There is an adjustment. All daughter-in-laws have to go through this phase where you will be judged by your in-laws, and it's normal. You will be judged. They will see how you're performing. When there are kids, how do you deal with the kids, education, because it's always a comparison that, okay, I did this with my children and you are doing this different. And again, there is a generation gap. So there's always conflict in mindset. Now, again, when we say that there's a conflict and you will be judged, there will be people giving you comments, there will be people giving you free advice, there will be opinions thrown to you by maybe your mother-in-law, father-in-law, or anyone in the house, whoever you're staying with. Again, this is normal and it happens with all daughter-in-laws who are living in a joint family. The third would be, in terms of perspective, is you need to kind of understand that they are doing this to care for you. So first, you will be judged by people in terms of perspective. You're in a new family, people will judge you. It's all normal, right? That's the first, understanding the perspective. Second is people will give you free suggestions, comments, and feedback. So, nothing to worry about. That is going to happen. And third is you need to understand that they're all coming out of care. I mean, most of them are coming out of the intention of caring for your kids, or caring for the kids, that, the kid is not eating, or you need to educate them in this way, or the clothes this way, or sleep this way, or whatever, your in-laws are kind of giving you suggestions or pressuring or commenting. It's coming out of good intention. So this is the perspective that you need to understand in order to deal with these situation, people, comments, judgment, and feedback. Now I'll share three things that you probably want to do in order to kind of handle the situation better. So the first point here is don't resist. Say thank you, right? This is a technique where it will really help you overcome the emotional stress and deal with the opposite person. So what do I mean? Don't resist. Say thank you. So whenever anybody comes and gives you a comment, oh, you should have made the person eat this way, or oh, he's not eating, he looks so thin, or you need to take care of the education more, or spend some time, or whatever you've been corrected by other people, mainly over here is your in-laws. You just say thank you, right? Don't resist. What happens with daughter-in-laws is they get this ego thing, and what, I don't understand how to take care of my child. or what, I am dumb, or am I stupid, or then the low self-esteem and low confidence kicks in, and there is an argument and conflict that why are you telling me, I know, I mean, it's my child, and there is this battle of authority and power. And often when a mother-in-law or a father-in-law, anybody in the family says this, from their perspective, from their shoes, it is more of, hey, it is our kids also, right? I mean, I have the right to say. So it never works when you say that, don't tell me, I know. It will always backfire, because hey, I'm also the grandmother, right? I have the right. I have raised kids. So I have the right to tell you. So when you want to kind of win the argument there, you just have to say, thank you. Okay, thank you. So it kind of cuts it off, ends it. And mostly over here, you want to understand that the person who's giving you advice really wants the other person to receive it. It's not maybe whether you're going to implement it or not. But the more you resist it, the more it will persist. So you just want to receive it very, very calmly, very respectfully, and just say thank you. And trust me, when you start receiving the feedback and comments and advice, people will eventually stop giving it to you. Now, whether you do it or you don't do it, that's the second question. But the first step would be to receive it and say thank you. Now, the second step, what you want to do is you want to listen, and you want to evaluate, and you want to improve. Now, what do I mean here? A lot of times people give you suggestions and you cut off, and then there's constant resistance, and why people telling me, and I know what to do, and and then sometimes there are people who give you good advice. There are people who might come and say something which is useful. So you want to listen, you want to evaluate. So say thank you, and then listen, evaluate whether what is true, what is not true, what you like, what you don't like, and then if you see some substance, improve. That's okay, right? I mean, there could be something there for you to learn, right? There are adults, they are more experienced, they are elderly, there are people who are saying things because it's not that they want to get back to you and all that. Yeah, maybe some people, but most of them don't want to get back to you. So they're taking the effort and telling you something. So just receive it, listen, evaluate, and improve. Show some improvement where people will feel, the advice or comment or whatever is taken in. Now, again, if you feel that when you evaluate and it's like, no, I'm good, I mean, my way or whatever I'm doing is fine, then it's fine, absolutely fine. You don't need to do anything more than that. And the last technique is be alive and fearless. Now, I know some of you daughter-in-law are going that, oh, all this is fine and I've already done that. But what if the in-laws are really in a pain, right? They are like constant nagging, and there's abuse, and they don't let me spend enough good quality time. They're always interfering. I've got comments where people are saying that I try to train my children, and the father-in-law and the mother-in-law and the in-laws kind of put in bad habits, and they pamper the child, and they're giving them gadgets and devices. So what do I do? How do I train my child? Now, if the situation is going bad to worse and you're losing control, then I would really suggest be alive and fearless. And what do I mean is don't go attack and yell and scream or do any physical abuse. But what I mean is be alive and fearless. Communicate with your in-laws. Be very straight, be very upfront that, hey, mom, dad, you know what, I really appreciate you giving me advice and all this, but I need to train my kids. And this is what it is. I cannot give them more of this, maybe sweets or devices, or there is this, the limited time that I want them to spend. And, when you don't support, and I would really request that you support and you don't give your device, or you don't give them any food, which I don't approve of. Yeah, a little bit is fine, but have a heart-to-heart or straight conversation. You're the mother and the father. I would highly recommend that you intervene respectfully and say what you need to say, so that people don't really take advantage or disadvantage advantage of you and step over authority. Like, I know there are some people, when I'm parenting my kids, there are family members who really put their nose in, and kind of they come in between, and no, this cannot happen, and he's a young child, and no, it is okay if they do this. And I'm like, hey, you know what, he's my son, he's my daughter, she's my daughter, and I know what I'm doing. So I would appreciate if you step aside and let me do my thing. And then, of course, some of you might go, oh, they feel so offended and they're like, what, we can't say this, and they're not my child. I say, okay, please, I mean, you're the parent, you're the whoever, grandparent or uncle, aunt, and I say you have full authority, but, when I'm parenting, I would appreciate nobody come in between. So, I mean, it's like a set thing in my family that when I'm parenting or when I'm setting some rules for my kids, then they're like, okay, what, just leave them, not to interfere. And sometimes my kids, as kids are, they overrule and they go to the family or grandparents and, they know that they're going to pamper, and they've been clearly told that please do not do or overboard or give them anything which is not approved. And we've already discussed this. So, I would appreciate if that happens. Now, again, having said all this, not necessary everything will go as per planned. You will have to kind of maneuver yourself and align, based on the temperament of your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your husband, and just be wise, be alive and fearless. Play around a little bit. Don't get so serious about the matter. If you're alive and fearless, you're playful, you're joyful, you're active. You're not. I mean, the worst thing that a daughter-in-law can do is sulk in and, kind of start criticizing and yelling and complaining. And then when you go with that same complaint to your husband, the husband really doesn't appreciate, and then he wants to move away because, if he takes the mother's side, the mother is upset. If he takes the, if the mother's side, the wife is upset. If he takes the wife's side, the mother gets upset. So he's basically confused. So you want to kind of not put him in that situation. Again, I'm not saying he should not help. He definitely should be playing a role in this. But for daughter-in-laws, this is the advice. Understand the three perspectives and use the three techniques which I have mentioned. Let me know how it works, if it helps you. If it doesn't, if you have a question, post it below the video. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Share it with your other daughter-in-law friends who are equally struggling with the same problem. And I hope this video helps all you daughter-in-laws. Stay alive, stay fearless, dream big, stay strong, and I'll see you soon in the next Alive and Fearless Monday.